Unspoken housing restrictions for temporary foreign workers in Canada. How new zoning laws are affecting immigrants. Welcome back to Canada Chronicles. Today, we're diving into an issue that affects thousands of temporary foreign workers across the country, the unspoken housing restrictions caused by changing zoning laws. While these laws aren't designed to target foreign workers, they've made it harder for many immigrants to find affordable housing. In this video, we'll uncover how these zoning changes are impacting TFWs and what you need to know to navigate these challenges. And, stay with us until the end, where we'll explore community-based housing solutions that are emerging as a powerful alternative for foreign workers facing housing difficulties. You won't want to miss this. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on valuable insights like these. Let's get started. Zoning laws and housing. What are they? Zoning laws are municipal regulations that determine how land can be used for residential, commercial, or industrial purposes. Recently, Canadian cities have adjusted these laws in response to urban growth and housing shortages. While these regulations are designed to guide city planning, they've indirectly limited housing options for temporary foreign workers, TFWs, especially in rapidly expanding urban areas. In cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Calgary, zoning laws now favor high-density developments like luxury high-rises and condominiums. While this strategy aims to accommodate population growth, it often leaves fewer affordable housing options for lower-income residents, including TFWs. These zoning shifts have led to reduced construction of affordable housing and a lack of new developments in suburban areas where TFWs are more likely to live due to proximity to job sites. As a result, TFWs now face tighter rental markets with fewer affordable units. Let's examine how these changes specifically impact foreign workers across the country. Impact on temporary foreign workers. TFWs generally earn lower wages than permanent residents or citizens, particularly in industries like agriculture, construction, and hospitality. This means they are more likely to seek affordable housing in older multifamily units or shared accommodations. However, with recent zoning laws encouraging high-end developments, affordable rental units are becoming scarce. For example, in Vancouver, many older, more affordable housing options have been replaced by luxury high-rises, pricing out lower-income tenants, including TFWs. In suburban areas, where many TFWs look for cheaper rental options, zoning rules have restricted the development of multifamily housing. This pushes TFWs farther from their workplaces or forces them to pay higher rents for less space. The housing affordability crisis means they often have to choose between long commutes or living in overcrowded, substandard conditions. Rural TFWs working in agriculture face another layer of difficulty. In many regions, zoning laws limit the number of temporary housing units that can be built on farms. Employers providing housing for foreign workers are constrained by these restrictions, resulting in overcrowded conditions or forcing workers to live off-site, often far from their workplaces. This adds a significant burden on TFWs, who must spend more on transportation or endure inadequate living conditions. Landlord challenges and accessibility. Beyond zoning restrictions, TFWs often face discrimination and hurdles when trying to secure rental housing. Many landlords are hesitant to rent to foreign workers due to concerns over their short-term stay, lack of Canadian credit history, or income instability. Even though anti-discrimination laws exist in Canada, these biases persist in practice, particularly in competitive housing markets. With rental markets tightening in major cities like Toronto and Calgary, landlords can afford to be selective, prioritizing tenants with established rental histories and solid financial backgrounds. This leaves TFWs at a disadvantage. Without sufficient rental options, many foreign workers are forced into shared accommodations, which are often overcrowded or below basic living standards. The lack of credit history is another major barrier. Most TFWs arrive in Canada without any local credit records, making it harder to pass landlord screenings that prioritize tenants with stable credit scores. This systemic issue further marginalizes foreign workers and exacerbates their struggle to find adequate housing. Employer-provided housing. A double-edged sword. Many TFWs rely on employer-provided housing, especially in industries like agriculture and construction. In rural areas, where affordable housing is harder to find, employers are often responsible for providing accommodations. However, the quality of this housing varies significantly. Zoning laws that limit the number of temporary units employers can build further complicate the situation, leading to overcrowding and poor living conditions for workers. While some employers go the extra mile to ensure their workers have safe and comfortable housing, others struggle to provide adequate accommodations due to zoning restrictions and financial limitations. In many cases, TFWs end up living in substandard housing, lacking basic amenities, or forced to travel long distances to work because their employers can't offer on-site housing. In urban areas, particularly in the hospitality and food service industries, employer-provided housing is less common. Some companies offer housing stipends or help TFWs find rental properties, but these practices are rare. As a result, most TFWs must navigate the competitive rental market on their own, facing the same challenges we've discussed, such as high rents, landlord discrimination, and limited availability. Municipal governments and zoning policy. Municipal governments in Canada have significant control over zoning regulations, which directly influence housing development. These local laws dictate the types of housing that can be built, where they can be located, and what density is allowed. While these regulations aim to manage city growth and maintain community standards, they often disproportionately affect low-income and vulnerable populations like TFWs. For example, municipalities that favor low-density housing development in suburban areas create fewer opportunities for multifamily or rental housing. This effectively pushes TFWs and other low-income workers to the fringes of cities or beyond. Zoning laws in urban centers that prioritize luxury condominiums also contribute to the housing crisis, driving up rents and reducing the supply of affordable units. Although zoning laws don't specifically target foreign workers, their effects are felt disproportionately by TFWs due to their lower incomes and need for affordable, accessible housing. Advocacy groups have been pushing for better collaboration between municipal, provincial, and federal governments to ensure that local zoning laws align with Canada's immigration policies, allowing TFWs to access decent, affordable housing. Thanks for staying with us this far. We appreciate your time and hope you're finding this information valuable. The growing role of community-based housing solutions. As the housing crisis continues, new solutions are emerging from community organizations and advocacy groups. One promising development is the rise of community-based housing programs aimed specifically at providing affordable accommodations for vulnerable populations, including TFWs. In cities like Toronto and Vancouver, non-profit organizations are partnering with local businesses and governments to create low-cost, shared housing solutions for TFWs. These programs often rely on grants and subsidies to keep rental prices low, making them accessible to foreign workers. In addition to affordable housing, these initiatives provide support services like language training, legal assistance, and job placement, helping TFWs better integrate into their communities. Another growing trend is the development of cooperative housing models, where tenants collectively own and manage the property. Co-ops offer a sustainable and affordable alternative for TFWs who might otherwise struggle to find stable housing in expensive cities. By pooling resources, co-op members can secure long-term housing at lower costs, creating a stable living environment for foreign workers. These community-driven initiatives are still in their early stages, but they hold great potential for addressing the housing challenges faced by TFWs. With the right support from governments and private sector partners, these models could expand, providing more TFWs with access to safe, affordable housing. Potential solutions moving forward. Several potential solutions could improve the housing situation for TFWs in Canada. Advocacy groups are calling for zoning reforms that encourage the construction of more affordable, multifamily housing units in areas where TFWs are concentrated. These changes could help increase the supply of affordable rentals, particularly in suburban and rural areas. There is also growing support for stronger regulations around employer-provided housing. By setting and enforcing minimum standards for the accommodations that employers provide, the federal and provincial governments can ensure that TFWs have access to safe, adequate housing, regardless of where they work. Finally, better coordination between federal immigration policies and local housing regulations is essential to address these challenges. Municipalities can adjust their zoning laws to create more inclusive housing options, while the federal government provides the necessary funding and oversight to ensure that these solutions are effective. As we've seen, temporary foreign workers in Canada face significant housing challenges, largely due to changing zoning laws and other barriers. While these laws don't directly target foreign workers, their impact is undeniable, making it harder for many to secure affordable, quality housing. However, emerging solutions like community-based housing programs and cooperative housing models could provide more sustainable options in the future. It's critical for policymakers to continue evolving Canada's urban planning strategies to ensure that all workers, including TFWs, have access to decent housing. Thanks for sticking with us until the end. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe to Canada Chronicles and hit the notification bell so you stay updated on all things immigration, housing, and life in Canada. We'll be back with more valuable content soon, so stay tuned. See you in the next video.